Right now, China is outmaneuvering Donald Trump so thoroughly, so completely. I would say brilliantly, but really what they're just doing is listening to the advice from the legendary Chinese philosopher and military strategist Sun Tzu, who said, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And boy, is the United States making the biggest mistake ever. The biggest mistake first was bringing Donald Trump in the first time. Donald Trump's policies were an utter disaster. His isolationist policies and weakness even allowed China to establish diplomatic ties with nations in Central America, South America, Africa, and across the world. Let's not forget that China established diplomatic ties with Panama during the first Trump administration, and Panama rejected its relationship with Taiwan. So for Donald Trump to now be complaining about, oh, well, Panama is being so influenced by China. Well, Donald Trump, that was all happening during your administration, Trump administration one. Then America brings Trump back. What does Trump do? Instantly, he starts attacking all of our allies, threatening the sovereignty of nations like Denmark, which Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Donald Trump continues to say he wants to make Canada the 51st state or else. Donald Trump threatening to invade and attack Panama. Donald Trump threatening to punish and tariff Mexico. Donald Trump pulling the United States out of critical international organizations that look to the United States as the leader. The United States has withdrawn from the World Health Organization. The United States has withdrawn from the Paris Climate Agreement. The United States is weakening NATO as it threatens its NATO allies. Who is this all benefiting? It is benefiting China. When you see maps like this of the World Health Organization map right now, and America is like the only country that's not part of it, it is deeply humiliating, and China knows what's up. They're putting out statements that are just going above and beyond to say, we believe in all nations' sovereignty. We support the sovereignty of this nation and that nation. We want to establish real, respectful, diplomatic, international relations to empower the cultural significance of these nations. And they're also saying, we are so committed to the World Health Organization, and we're so committed to building bridges across the world, both literally and figuratively. And they're doing that because it is the perfect juxtaposition to how erratic and harmful Donald Trump is being with the sledgehammer he's using to try to harm international relations. This is the exact moment China was waiting for, and they're taking advantage of it. So, for example, China responds right away when Donald Trump withdraws from the World Health Organization and says China is committed to leading the World Health Organization. Quote, China will, as always, support the WHO in fulfilling its responsibilities and work towards building a shared community of health for humanity, said Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Quote, for China, the role of the WHO should only be strengthened, never weakened, he added. And then China's minister says, quote, climate change is a common challenge faced by all of humanity. Quote, no country can remain unaffected or solve the problem on its own. China will work with all parties to actively address the challenges of climate change. You see that language right there? Now you may go, well, that's just CCP propaganda. Well, China is at least playing the game. However you want to view it, China understands the importance of international relations, to be very careful with your language, to be respectful of other nations, and to not look like a barbaric, ignorant, zombified nation imploding from within the way the United States looks right now with Donald Trump. So however you view these statements, they're speaking the language of diplomacy and international relations, and they're doing it in a profoundly overt way to also stick their thumb in the faces of the United States, who's losing international credibility. Look, right now, China is leading the world in green energy production. President Biden saw what was going on. That's why we have the Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act, which brought the semiconductor industry here to the United States. Under Biden, the United States economy was actually growing faster than China because we were focused on alliance building and bringing these industries here and growing them, unlike the MAGA Republicans and Trump, who, if anything has the word green in front of it, they go, oh, that's socialism, that's Marxism, green this, green that. That's big business, and it was actually helping red states almost more than blue states as well. And so Trump's policies are going to screw up red states.
The start of the new year is the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and focused on what matters most. For me, the top priority is my financial wellness because let's face it, every dollar counts. That's why I love Rocket Money. They've made it so easy to track all my subscriptions, cancel the ones I forgot about, and even lower my bills. With Rocket Money, my financial goals feel achievable. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For the ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. No long hold times or confusing websites. Their dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all your accounts, and you can even set a personalized budget with custom categories to keep your spending on track. Rocket Money will alert you if your bills increase, if there's unusual spending, or if you're close to going over budget. And with their new goals feature, they will automatically save money for you, whether you are paying off debt, saving for a house, or just building your emergency fund. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch today. That's rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch. rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch.
Let me just show you the language of diplomacy right here so you can see it. So this is China's minister right here, foreign minister. And here's what foreign minister spokesperson, and here's what she had to say about the Panama Canal. So as Donald Trump is threatening to invade and take over Panama, listen to the language of China, which, by the way, established diplomatic relations with Panama during Trump's first administration. This is what they say. The Panama Canal is a great creation of the Panamanian people, and China has always supported their just struggle to maintain sovereignty over the canal, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Mao Ning said on Monday, commenting on President-elect Trump's claim that the canal is an important national asset of the U.S. China will continue to respect Panama's sovereignty over the canal and recognize it as a permanently neutral international passageway, Mao said. Let me show you this. Donald Trump said he hoped that China will play a major role in ending the conflict in Ukraine. Donald Trump bizarrely ceding authority to China and saying Xi Jinping should do it. So when asked about it, this was the response. Dialogue and negotiation is the only viable way to resolve the Ukrainian crisis. Meanwhile, as Donald Trump is doing that, Xi Jinping is having conversations, private conversations with Putin while Donald Trump was being inaugurated, which Xi Jinping and Putin announced 24 hours later. Remember, Donald Trump said that within 24 hours of the election, he said there would be a peace deal in Ukraine. He said he would call up Putin and he would call up Zelensky and he would get them to do a peace deal. Well, he lied about that. But 24 hours after the inauguration, you know who made a deal? Xi Jinping and Putin, reinforcing their relationship as their favored trade partners of each other and talking about strengthening their relationships into the future. So what do you think the message that they're sending there, that they are trying to build a new world order without the United States, where they're going to be the power players? And again, going back to that Sun Tzu quote I talked about at the beginning, don't interrupt your enemies when they're making mistakes. And then Donald Trump's like, well, let Xi Jinping negotiate with Putin. While Donald Trump is out there saying that he's going to have zero tolerance of Iran and all of these things, guess what's also happening? Putin makes a deal with Iran for a 20-year alliance, military alliance, power, powerful weaponry, drones, all of these things. That just happened as well since Donald Trump was elected. Now I want to show you these two things so you can see them side by side. So right here, I want to share with you, this is what the foreign minister spokesperson for China says about Donald Trump threatening trade wars on China and other nations. Just watch the language of diplomacy used here. Here, play this clip.
A question from AFP. U.S. President Donald Trump, in an interview with Fox News, said he would prefer not to have to impose tariffs on China, but that tariffs were a tremendous power over China. Does the Foreign Ministry have a comment on this? Thank you.
I have made clear our position multiple times. Trade and economic cooperation between China and the U.S. benefits the two countries. We always believe if there are disagreements and differences, we should address these issues through negotiation. Trade and tariff wars have no winners and do not benefit the world. Next one, please.
Right, and that's in response to Donald Trump saying, we're going to tariff China. We've got a big weapon against China. We're going to hurt. We're going to make them some, And they're like, okay, well, and then they're like, well, we believe in diplomatic relations, but if you're going to come after us, we're going to come after you. I got to show you this so you can see it for yourself. Right here, this is Trump saying that he thinks that Xi Jinping should be the person who negotiates the peace in Ukraine. He says that he told Xi, you need to get the war settled in Ukraine. So that was Trump's plan. Here, play this clip.
Percent is ridiculous, yeah.
You asked President Xi in your conversation about Ukraine. Did you ask him to get involved in helping settle that? Can you tell us about that?
I did, yeah. I said, you ought to get it settled because he's not done very much on that. He's got a lot of power, like we have a lot of power. I said, you ought to get it settled. We did discuss it, yeah.
Yeah, and while all of that's going on, you have, Donald Trump going back to his social media posts in all caps, erratic, chaotic. Who's the beneficiary of all of this right now? Why do you think it was that President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico was photographed with Xi Jinping at the G20 summit when she wasn't even supposed to meet with him recently? Why do you think she wanted to be photographed? What do you think the overall message being sent is? That China's going to fill these voids and they're going to try to build these relationships when the United States does whatever it's doing. And as Trump's alienating and isolating the United States from everyone. Who's a friend of the United States right now? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just different degrees of alliances against the United States. Well, judge for yourself. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe and let's get to 4 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.